Okay, Roark. So you unfortunately got hashtag blindsided on last night's Survivor episode. And at the end of the day, it looks like you're sitting here because Ryan chose to keep Chrissy over you. And just tell us what was going through your mind when Jeff was reading those votes. And at one point, it's tied 2-2.
Honestly, the first time the first time I see my name, I know. Because, there was no reason for it to show up that beyond me going home. And so when Jeff reveals the first Roark, I'm just like, oh, okay. I mean, you can just excuse me now. We don't need to keep reading.
Do you think he made the right decision for his game? I mean, I know you're out of the game, but if you could put yourself in his mindset.
No, I do. I totally think he made the right decision. I completely understand. I completely understand and respect his move. He had built trust with Chrissy through that Super Idol in day 1/day 3. And I had no idea about it. Allie had no idea about it. And I landed on that swap mat thinking that I could fulfill the sort of Survivor trope of, being the one person swinging between the two sets of two. And unfortunately, I did not realize that there was this other relationship that would take primacy over all of that and just completely, not to use a predatory phrase, but say, change the game. I think what happened with Ryan is that he watched Allie and I bond really closely. There's a secret scene of Allie describing our relationship, and I think that captures it really well. And I think Ryan started feeling afraid that he felt like he had lost Allie. He was like, Roark and Allie love each other too much. And Chrissy still loves me. And so, his choice was really, it was a choice between who to vote out of me and Chrissy, but it was a choice in his own alignment between Allie and Chrissy.
Well, a lot was made of the fact that Chrissy only came to you on the last day because she kind of needed you. And my question is, so a tribe of only 5 people, were strategy talks just something that were kept to a minimum?
I am of the belief that on Survivor, social is strategy, that I think everything pretty much comes down to social game. And so my idea was to really just try and bond with people before having to have a strategy talk. What happened with Chrissy is that she landed on our swap beach and let it be known that it was my time. She really wanted me out from jump. And I understand why, strategically. They had one of a 6-man squad captive. Totally understand why you want to eliminate that person. I get it. That said, she was so locked in on that meant that any strategy talk that we had in those 4 or 5 days where I was on Swap Soko would have been fake. Just as fake as that conversation we had on that log was, where she had no intention of fulfilling that plan, and I had no intention of fulfilling that plan that she and I discussed. And it just would have been more of that. So, really, there's no point in us having a strategy talk before then. We get into it at Tribal, but, I don't know why neither of us would have really gained anything by talking strategy with each other earlier, because I believe that even though, it's not exactly a regret, but something I could have done to just see how it would work out would be to have a sit down with Chrissy and lay our cards on the table. Because before an immunity challenge, she came up to us, to me and Allie, and said, I know you're voting for me. I know you're coming for me. And so we should have, something I could have done was sit on that log with her and say, hey, I know you're coming for me. We're coming for you. Can we put that aside and try to work together just for one vote and see what happens? you know, I don't think the outcome's any different. I don't think there was a bridge to be built between myself and Chrissy. I just, you know, I think she and I just happened to be oil and water. But, you know, that's something that I think about that, like, maybe could have been different, but I don't think it would have changed anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, in your parting words, you said you were not going to blame the tribe switch on your elimination. But why is that? Because a case could be made if there was no tribe switch, you would still be in this game.
No, you're absolutely right. I very much changed my opinion since coming home and, you know, learning the full picture of everything, especially with that advantage relationship. I was incredibly subtly swap screwed in a way that has really never been it's really never happened before. You know, that relationship really made Ryan the swing. It eliminated my opportunity to be the swing, frankly. And I don't think that there is any, with excluding a genuine hidden immunity idol, like kind of a fake one, you know, a real one, there's no way I'm getting out of Swap Soko.
Right. Yeah, it was a tough position, especially because you didn't know what was going on with Ryan and Chrissy's special bond. And if you had known that, is there anything you could have done to maybe join those two and be like, hey, let's get out Allie or let's get out JP?
Yeah, so that's why I think my best case scenario was like 3 more days. Ryan was amenable to voting out JP. Allie was not, because of that, like, we just would have died in the next challenge, and then it would have been, you know, I'm sure she probably thought it would have been Chrissy, but it definitely would have been myself. And so I really, like, maybe it would have been Allie next, not me, who knows, but I really do think that even if, let's say, we got rid of JP, I'm next.
Right. Well, let's go back in the game and let's pretend there was never a tribe switch. And so it's you guys, your healer tribe, you're 6 strong. So it's you, Jessica, Cole, Joe, Desi, and Mike. Who do you think would have been the first out of that tribe?
If we had lost the first challenge, it would have been Dr. Mike. Not because I didn't really want to work with him, but because Joe was just so loud in his dislike and his suspicion of Dr. Mike that in the first, you know, if the game had gone on, I probably could have figured out something to preserve Mike. But in the first 3 days, I'm not going to put my neck out and go against Joe. Definitely not. That'd be insane.
I laughed at that because Joe's a very polarizing person on the show. Some people love him. Some people hate him. What was it like being on a tribe with Joe?
I mean, I have a lot of affection for Joe. I have a lot of respect for people who say what they mean and do what they say, and their behavior, like, aligns with their words. And I think that can put people on tilt in Survivor, because usually things are cloak and dagger. They're behind closed doors. They're secretive. Like, you don't, you know, Joe comes up and just directly confronts people in front of other people. But that's crazy, you know? And he doesn't, you know, a lot of people are giving him the Tony comparison, obviously, but Tony created chaos by lying, and Joe does it by telling the truth. And
interesting. That
is equally disorienting, but for a different reason. And especially if you're on the right side of it, it's pretty great. If you're on the wrong side, it's scary. But Joe was really loyal. Joe was really, really healer strong. And I know he one of the things, he called me the lying lawyer because he was convinced I was a lawyer. And once Joe gets an idea like that in his head, like, there's no correcting him. Like, he had decided on healers before meeting him that Alan was a cop, and we're like, okay, dude, like, sure. And, you know, like, he'll just get these ideas, and no matter what we say, like, nope, Alan's a cop, Alan's a cop, okay. Like, he's right here saying he's not. Nope, Alan's a cop. Oh, okay. You know, it's fantastic. but I appreciate somebody who's upfront. Like Joe, there's nothing fake about Joe. There's no artifice. There's Joe is just Joe, and I have a lot of respect for that.
So you're a super fan, right?
Yeah.
And I always love asking super fans, who are your dream castaways from the past that you would love to play with? Let's say one man and one woman.
Oh gosh, that's such a tough call because it's like, do I pick two people to play with that I can like take to the end? Do I pick two people that would like probably screw me over because they're so smart and wonderful? That's a really, really tough question. I would love to play with Dave Wright. I adore him. I think that because they're like, so in a lot of the preseason press, if you were consuming any of that, like Ryan and I really wanted to work together, and just sort of circumstance and fate made that so that story, remains fan fiction. But I feel like I could get my like Ryan fix by playing with Dave. And then I'm trying to think of a woman. Obviously, I'm like going to have like really big. I feel like I'm going to end up having recency bias. Oh no, you know what? I would love to, this is just someone like I want to hang out with, which probably means we like wouldn't play together very well. But I would love to play with Sophie Clark. She's my girl.
Nice. Those are two kind of obscure choices that are going to have people going to Wikipedia and saying, okay, who are they?
Oh, everyone knows Dave, right?
Oh yeah, Dave was quite a fun person to watch on TV. I want him to come back.
Yeah, I feel like that's
tomorrow.
that's not a hot take. That's not a scandalous pick.
And okay, last question. Being a super fan, you come into the game with the decision of whether to tell everyone you're a super fan or whether to keep that secret. What was your thinking on that dilemma?
I kept it very low key on Healers. Because I just kind of read the room, and Mike was getting a lot of crap from Joe for being a super fan. And so I was like, great. So definitely not going to reveal that. And so people would be like talking about seasons and people and like misquoting things, and I would just have to sit there, my tongue bleeding from the bite down. And,
I love that.
But then once Ryan and I got together on Swap Soko, there was a nice moment between him and I where we woke up before everyone else and sat around the fire and kind of like talked about being a fan and how we hadn't really had a chance to talk about it on each of our starting tribes, and we sort of just had a really nice little personal bonding moment over that.
Nice. Well, thank you for talking with us today, Roark, and we hope you have a great day, okay?
Anytime. You too. Enjoy this heat wave that's hopefully on the way out.